Hey, sorry about that. Missed the video up. How's everybody doing today? Ryan Newpel, episode 212 of the Knup Sports Show. Thank you so much for being here, taking some time, listening to this show, however you're consuming it, watching it, listening it, reading it, whatever you're doing. We are just a couple weeks away from the big G2E event in Vegas. I hope to see many of you there. I've talked to many of you listeners and watchers that are going. Please reach out if you haven't already. Let's set a time to at least say hello, right? We don't have to have a big meeting, but at least say hello because it is always a difficult time once you get there trying to navigate and meet up. So let's schedule a time and say hello. As always, we have another great guest here today. I'm super excited to dive into this interview and find out what's going on with this guest and their project. So let's not waste any more time and let's dive right into today's show. Today, I have Hussain Naqi. Hussain is with Inside the Pocket. Hussain, how you doing, my friend?
I'm well, man. How are you?
I am doing well. It's Thursday at the time of this recording. Weeks just flying by. We got Thursday night football tonight for us here in the U.S. that love to watch football every week. Man, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'll be up to the wee hours watching tonight's games as well. So I haven't grown up in Texas. It's in my blood. I just can't shake it. I love everything about football.
I tell you what, that's one thing I don't envy about the European time zones. And if you're a North American sports fan and you live in Europe, it's like, whoa, I got to stay up till when to watch these games, and it would be very difficult, I think.
Yeah, man. No, it is. It's pretty tough. Not gonna lie, particularly at my age, it's not bad. That is a longer recovery than it used to be. But hey, it's all for a good cause. Look, it's when I was in the States, when I lived in the States, I'd be watching college football from starting game day through to call it midnight, something like that, 1 o'clock for the West Coast games, and now it sort of shifts 5 hours, and I'm going to bed at 5 in the morning over here. So whatever, it is what it is.
We adjust around the sports we love, don't we? That's awesome. So you a Cowboys fan then, being from Texas, or what?
You know what? That's how I grew up. Certainly, I've been in the industry for some time in the NFL. I still follow the Cowboys pretty closely. I used to work for the Jags, so they've somehow creeped into my sensitivities as well. I was with them for a lot of years, and so I'm sort of I wouldn't say split allegiances. I'm probably more Cowboys than just because that's my roots, and I don't have any beyond my time in Jacksonville. I don't have any real tie to Florida, so I am a Cowboys fan for all my sins.
Well, it's finally time the Jags are finally making some noise. Actually, this year they're a little bit struggling, but you know what? They're at least making some noise because I know being a Jags fan over the last 5 to 10 years or however many has probably been a struggle. So anyway.
They're a resilient fan base. That is for sure.
Yeah, it's fun atmosphere to go to a game there. I love going to games in Jacksonville. A lot of good time. So anyway, let's get on the right track here, Hussain. I'm excited to dive into yourself and Inside the Pocket as well. But first, tell me about you. Tell me about your you kind of started talking about already been in the industry for a while, but give us a background of your career history.
Yeah, thank you. So I've been in sports my entire career, really. I started out of college with the NFL and then went to the NCAA I was there for a few years in their enforcement division. And then went to graduate school in Chicago, and after that went to go work for Major League Baseball. I was there with baseball for a couple of years, and then was with Mark Lamping, who's now the president of the Jags, but was with Mark, and we built MetLife Stadium just outside of New York, New Jersey, where the Jets and the Giants play. And then when Mark got the job as the president of the Jags, he brought me and one other colleague down to Jacksonville, and we tried to make heads and tails of what Shot had bought in Jacksonville. It's been awesome, man. I really, as I reflect on my time, I can't believe I've been so lucky to have the jobs that I've had and had the experiences I've had. And then about 2 years ago now, a little less than that, I decided to move full time to do my own thing and launch Inside the Pocket for a variety of reasons, and it's been fun. I mean, it's been starting your own business or starting my own business has been the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's pretty damn rewarding, that's for sure.
So I was going to say hardest, but most rewarding. You took the words right out of my mouth there. That's typically how it goes. It's not always easy with a business, but it is rewarding when you see the fruits of your labor and you see things progressing and growing. So that's amazing. Congrats on the great work history, and just having experience with all those major leagues has to be eye-opening, and just has to be rewarding in itself, I guess, just to know that you've been a part of these leagues and teams at a higher level. That's really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate your kind words. No, I like I said, I'm beyond lucky. It's been, you sort of live a childhood dream in a lot of ways. I'm never athletic enough to play at a high level, and so for me to be involved in these sports that I absolutely love and adore, and see the guys who I respect the heck out of, both from a business perspective and from an athletic perspective, being able to be in their orbit has been just an incredible honor, to be honest.
Amazing. So you spent a lot of time in sports, decided to start a company surrounding sports. Let's talk a little bit about Inside the Pocket. For the audience that may not know what you guys are up to, why don't you give us the high level overview of what you guys are up to with Inside the Pocket?
Yeah, so we're a marketing platform for any brands that are looking to use games of any sort to acquire, retain, and convert customers. So if you think of sort of casino style games or pick'em style games or scratch card games, whatever the mechanic is, trivia games, as long as it's free to play, that's our focus, free to play and skills-based games. We deploy a white label solution for those kind of brands. So, obviously our target market, the knee-jerk reaction is to think about kind of betting operators and that free to play mechanism. But, there's equally no reason why we couldn't, and we're certainly having very fruitful conversations with telecom operators, with hospitality companies, restaurant chains, these kind of things that are looking to think about how they can talk to customers differently and talk to customers in a way that is kind of focused on that particular demographic subset. So, because we're an aggregation platform, we're very, very fortunate to have the faith of nearly 25 free to play and pay to play content providers. We have the best in the business agreed to on our platform, whether that's the Chalk Lions of the world, the Low Sixes of the world, Bounty Sports, Thunderbite. The list goes on. Like I said, we're really fortunate that we have the faith that they've put in us to be able to be on our platform, and we can then pass that along to our business customers, and who can turn, sort of micro segment their customers and offer various gaming opportunities to them.
Yeah, that's amazing. Customer acquisition is obviously the name of the game for businesses, trying to get people in the door and get people to do things with their brand. And so, yeah, having creative ways within sports to really capture that audience is amazing. Let's talk a little bit about some of the games, because that's where the fun is. Some of these games that you guys have out here, I'm pulling it up on the screen for those watching. Buzzer Beater, Beat the Spread, Millionaires Row, Survivor, some really cool games. Survivor really stands out in my mind just because we're in NFL season and everyone loves like that whole mentality of Survivor. Talk about some of these games. Maybe a couple of them that are hot that people like. Just talk a little bit about the game side of it.
Yeah, so as a matter of fact, it's funny, on the Survivor side, we actually ran sort of an industry-focused Survivor game, and we're down to just a few people left actually who could who survived. I think the Jags lost this past weekend. That put a wrench into a few predictions, but we've had some really good luck with that. We've had some very good luck with some of our third-party providers. You see a company called SportX right in the middle there. We've had some good traction with those guys in Brazil, actually. A couple of operators have gone live with them. We've had some good luck. Millionaires Row is sort of our pick six style game, similar to what Sky Bet does here in the UK, or I think Fox Bet did really well in the US. So the good thing about what we're up to is that it really does depend on what a client wants. Some people would want a scratch card, some people will want a pick six, some people will want a spin game, and whether it is our product or a third party product, there really isn't anything that we can't deploy, which is pretty nice.
Man, I was out week 1 of Survivor. I lost on. I do this every week. I freaking picked the Minnesota Vikings to win week 1, and they fail me, right away, and I'm out of all my contests. I'm like, come on, this sucks.
It's fun. I mean, it's certainly. I'm actually not a bettor, really. I don't. That's not my thing. But
sure.
when you're in it, or testing it as the owner, and you have a prediction, it does add something, right? I mean, it actually adds a neat little. I otherwise have absolutely no interest in a particular game.
Yeah.
And you're sort of curious to see what's happened because you picked that team. So that's obviously the point of the exercise.
So let's talk a little bit about how businesses would work with you in that process, I guess. There's a brand that's, looking for creative ways to, or a brand or a company or whatever, looking for creative ways to bring people in the door and get some engagement. What's that process to engage you guys, get working with you guys? How difficult is it? Just talk a little bit through that process of working with you guys.
Yeah. So I hope our clients would find it not a difficult process at all. Our last launch, we launched them in 10 days. They came to us and said, we need something pretty fast. And we launched them in Brazil in 10 days. Our last integration with a content provider, we did in 3 days. We started on a Tuesday and was live with them with a super cool product, which is it's called Snap Odds. You basically it allows you to point your phone at a TV. It recognizes what you're watching and will pull up whatever messaging is related to that sporting event.
That's cool.
That you're pointing at. It's super cool. We did that integration in 3 days. So I'm hopeful that both our content providers and our clients find us very easy to work with. Look, the typical sort of use cases for us, let's say in the betting space, is either, let's say, a standalone site. We've done that a few times. And let's say in jurisdictions, I mentioned Brazil earlier, like Brazil, where it's difficult to promote real money games on certain advertising platforms, whether that's Facebook or Instagram, the meta platforms. Having a standalone site where you can drive customers to it to promote free-to-play games, that tends to be the mechanism in markets like that.
Yep.
There are other markets where, for instance, in South Africa, we're doing an integration. We're very fortunate to have been selected by Playtech to be a free-to-play provider for them. And so with the Playtech client in South Africa, we're integrating directly into the Playtech platform on a platform-to-platform basis. And we'll have the journey baked right into their sports book on sort of a banner ad or a tab or whatever it is, an iframe into the sports book. So the use cases we're pretty flexible. However it is that the client foresees the customer journey, we can accommodate that, whether that's on from a mobile perspective or web app, either one.
Really cool. Really cool. Sounds simple. Sounds amazing. What's the future look like for you guys? I mean, is it as simple as adding more games, adding more partners, adding more clients, and continuing to have a great product? It sounds simple, right? But is it as simple as that, or are there big plans in the future for you guys?
I think for us, it's yes. I mean, the short answer is yes. The content, the good thing about what I think the good thing about what we're up to is that we sort of look at content with a capital C. Mm-hmm. So, that could be daily fantasy stuff, right? So I think there's a lot of headroom in DFS outside of the US.
Sure.
I think for us, as markets mature outside of the US is North America is a focus, but I think that there is probably a bigger opportunity sort of as moving into the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years outside of the US. You're seeing that in a lot of Latin American markets. You're seeing that as technology improves in Africa. You're seeing that as advertising laws change in more mature markets like Europe. They're going to need solutions like ours to either cut through the regulation or have as a conduit to their real money activities, or indeed being able to diversify out of for us being able to diversify out of the betting space and moving more into sort of hospitality and non-betting, non-gaming clients. For us, I think the nirvana would be to be considered sort of the operating system for free-to-play and daily fantasy platforms. And so, we are the go-to space where if you want to choose a free-to-play proposition, you do a single integration with us and you get the entire marketplace of really, really cool stuff. That aspiration seems to be materializing. It's a long road, and that's a big statement. I know that, but I think we're starting to see at least people buying into that idea and buying into that notion.
Hussain Naqi of Inside the Pocket. Hussain, you seem like a very straightforward and humble guy. I love that. I'm always intrigued by people like yourself who, you think back, how long has the company been going now? When did you start this? How many years?
So we incorporated and started building in 2020. We pushed live in November of last year.
So, you're talking, a couple years and then a year, and you see with the product and you're like, man, this is so polished and so good. And he seems like he has it all together. Talk about that journey as an entrepreneur and I don't know, maybe give some either encouragement or advice to those, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs and people trying to start up in the, gaming space, iGaming, betting, whatever you want to call it. Fantasy sports, real, whatever we want to call it, right? There's a lot of people trying to get something off the ground. From a business side, I always like to pick people's brains and just what's some advice or something that you've learned along the way that maybe you can share with someone that could help them in their journey?
It's
loaded.
It's loaded. I don't know if I'm even qualified to answer this question, but I'll talk a little bit about what my personal journey has been. As I said, it is the hardest thing I've ever done. By easily the hardest thing I've ever done. There are a few things that I would say it's really, really, really difficult to pick up out of a book or pick up out of a reading Shoe Dog, right? It's hard to. It's really hard to understand the first person element of running a business. It is incredibly lonely. Yeah. It is a very, very lonely experience, particularly if you're a sole founder. I'm a sole founder. Yeah. I have really, really strong investors. I'm deeply, deeply fortunate for that, and a great team. But at the end of the day, if something goes sideways, it's my fault, right? And that it is my responsibility. And whether that is with the clients, whether that is with my team members, whether that is whoever it's with content partners, whatever it is, it's my responsibility. And when you strike out on your own, that is okay. That is part of the allure, right? That is pretty alluring. On the other hand, when you have no one to turn to, or you're sort of sitting there like, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this corner I've painted myself into? That is tricky. They talk about obviously you pick up whatever books you pick up and you start talking about and thinking about the actual running of the business. Yeah. Cash is king. Manage your cash, and that is a very, very, very difficult thing to do sometimes. And it feels like some days you're playing whack-a-mole, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, all these, whatever the cliche is. Yeah. And that's hard. That is hard, but you get through it. And I think there's certainly some sort of real validity to the, sort of just keep your head down and push and push and push, and hopefully the door opens.
I can personally relate with a lot of that, and hopefully you audience, you can as well. And I really appreciate that insight there. I know I caught you off guard with the question, but I really appreciate that. Just that insight, coming from someone who started with nothing and really brought it to where you are today. Congrats on all the success with Inside the Pocket. Let's finish up here with where can we find you? Where can they get to Inside the Pocket? How can they get a hold of you? Are you available? Things of that nature.
I am available 24/7, sadly. So of course I'm available on LinkedIn. Hussain Naqi, Naqi is my last name, surname for those outside of the U.S. Our website, feel free to check it out, insidethepocket.io. Always happy to have a conversation. Always happy to just shoot the breeze and bounce the ideas off of it, even if it's not a sales or anything related. Just want to talk sports. You want to talk about the business. Happy to learn from anybody who's willing to share their insights with me. But yeah, we're always open, always willing to brainstorm on solutions, and more than happy to chat.
Amazing. And I know you said just before this, you said you were heading to G2E in Las Vegas. I know I'll be out there as well, so I'm looking forward to saying hello to you in person.
I look forward to it. I'll be there, and I'll be the most blurry-eyed guy there, I'm sure. But it'll be a lot of fun. Always great conference.
Aren't we all blurry-eyed in Vegas? It feels like.
That is true. That is true. That's a fair point.
All right. Well, Hussain, any last words? Anything we missed? Anything you wanted to say before we jump off here?
No, just thank you. It's been a blast. Look forward to it, and look safe travels to everybody heading out to Vegas, and look forward to seeing everybody out there.
Amazing. Good luck in the future, and look forward to having you on in a couple years when you have hundreds of games and things. If you're still alive, or if you're still making it.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously.
All right, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for everything. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, that was Hussain Naqi of Inside the Pocket. Seems like a great guy. I have not got the pleasure of meeting him in person yet, but I'm excited to do so in Vegas. That will be amazing. I encourage you to head out to insidethepocket.io, check it out, see what they got going on, especially if you're a business or a brand looking for ways to, bring people in the door and get people engaged and really, just help move the needle through free-to-play games. Reach out to Hussain. He'll be a good one to at least talk to and see how they can help. All right, that's it for episode 212. I'm Ryan Nupel at KNUP out there. We're on all the social channels. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I love talking sports. I love talking betting, gambling, gaming, whatever you want to call it. All right, that's it for today. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.